Hi everyone, my name's Andy Ryan. I'm the founder and my title at the moment is Chief Executive, not Chief Executive Officer, it's all contractual thing. Anyway, Chief Executive of Cityread. It's a charity that I founded we became a charity last year, but we started our programme in 2012. I have got a series of confessions to make to start off with. The first one is I don't work in acquisitions. The second is I'm not a librarian. And the third is that I genuinely started writing a presentation on the theme of evidence and data, but it just bored me senseless, and I gave up. And I thought what I would do is I'd just play you a video. It's brand new, just had it done. So if you've seen me speak before and you know that I play videos a lot, this is a new one, so you should stay and watch it. And then once I've calmed down and my nerves are sorted out, then I will talk to you a bit more about what we do and take any questions. So that's that. I'll just hit play.
Cityread is a massive book group for London. Every April we choose a book set in the capital and we ask the whole city to read it together.
My name is Gillian Slovo and I've been lucky enough that City Reads has chosen my book 10 Days to be their 2016 book.
We have a month-long programme of events taking place in libraries across the capital, and our focal point of this year's programme is an amazing digital installation at Foyles on Charing Cross Road. This is Cityread London. Every year we launch Cityread by giving away 1,000 books at a thematically linked event. In the past we have set up a First World War enlisting station on the main concourse of St Pancras International. We've driven Peter Grant's boss's Jag into Covent Garden, and we've also installed our author on the deck of the Golden Hind with a jester and a town crier.
This man here has just been given a free book, and look how happy he is!
We have events running at a local level developed by our amazing library partners, and we also have huge high-profile events like our big 1,000 book giveaway and immersive theatre performances. The book defines the programme each year, so every year we get to work with a different book and a completely different genre, and that opens up loads of exciting possibilities for new partnerships.
Thanks, Andy, and welcome to the Golden Hind. What an amazing venue on which to do a quiz. This is, I'm sorry about the low lighting, but this is the authentic conditions that Francis Drake would have done pub quizzes in back in the 16th century. So you're living history here.
Welcome to the London Gin Club. We're giving a talk on the tastes of Elizabethan Europe and London as part of this year's City Read. So they were exposed to Genever because they were given a dram of Genever before a battle, as has been described in the book, to give them courage. That's where the term Dutch courage comes from. So when those guys came back to England, they brought a taste for the hard stuff with them.
And all the food would come in sort of shared platters. And you would have brought to the table your own knife and your own spoon. And in fact, the tradition of giving someone a spoon for a christening comes from this period.
So I've been creating an Elizabethan menu for Cityread this year, which is to complement the book Prophecy. And hopefully tonight's food just brings that era to life.
Salted beef brisket, sage and parsley crust with a mustard sauce. So by the Tudor period, England had this reputation abroad for great beef and being great roasters.
Please, you see, does anyone notice something strange about the garment? No. Madame, it is the disguise of a boy.
This is what the young girls do. They sneak out, disguised as a young boy, undetected, to meet a lover.
Her body was found in a derelict chapel, a popular meeting place for these priests.
So, if she was secretly meeting a lover, then someone likely saw her just before she was killed.
Yes.
all the different events that have come together as part of the Cityread experience, I hope will give people some idea of the kind of background and context of the book, which they wouldn't have been able to get without these live events. And of course, for me, it's being able to go out and talk to readers, which is always the fun part.
When I'm thinking about pulling together a Cityread event, I'm thinking about all of the different ways you could possibly interact with the text. I'm thinking about all of the different ways that you can get to know the characters in the story.
What we wanted to do was to give people a way to immerse themselves into the story, and so we've created a police control room installation, and the premise is that you, as the visitor to the installation, to the control room, you're trying to piece together what has happened.
His hands cuffed behind his back. He was still struggling to free himself of uniforms, police and a scrum.
You were called to help, and you've killed him!
To have other people read the book and come back and add to it in different ways, add to it visually, is just a real treat, actually. I think books are wonderful because you read them on your own, but this is something that will be seen collectively, and I think that does change the experience of readers.
We have a long-standing relationship with immersive theatre company Look Left, Look Right. We commission them to create immersive interactive experiences based on our chosen Cityread novel.
There's a silver lining in the sky. Captain, sing along. Our old thing, cheerio, ching, ching. Now, toodaloo, goodbye. Thank you, Oliver. Very good.
I said good evening, everybody. Welcome to Club 44. It is the 23rd of January, 1919, and we are here in this time of peace.
Part of what drives us is a desire to bring the book to life, and working with an immersive theatre company like Look Left, Look Right enables audiences to be put in the very centre of the novel that they're reading.
Look how beautiful the green lawns of the park are in the light. Unmuddied, smooth, alive, no holes, no bodies, no barbed wire, no explosions. Such a simple thing to be grateful for. Nadine, my dear, take the last 4 years and put it in a box and wrap it with string so tight that nothing can seep out. And then put it on a shelf far, far up high and know that it never needs to be opened again. Pity, my darling Nadine, is no grounds for love.
Over the years, we've built up some amazing relationships with our Cityread authors, with the exception really of Dickens, who was not very available to get involved. Our authors have committed themselves wholeheartedly to getting in front of as many library audiences as possible.
The title of the book comes from a field postcard that wounded soldiers were given, which they were to tick the box and fill in. So it goes, "My dear," and you fill in who you're sending it to. "I wanted to tell you before any telegram arrives that I have received a slight, severe, delete as appropriate, wound in my," fill in as appropriate.
Notably, Ben Aronovich decided in 2015 to visit every single London borough across the Cityread month. I think he lived to regret that, though. Book groups are central to Cityread. About 80% of library book groups will be taking part reading our chosen novel. One of the most exciting things for me is the range of events that libraries programme at a local level for their communities.
Welcome to Lambeth Palace Library, and in Cityread 2017 tonight we've got S.J. Paris and Tracy Borman in conversation here in the Elizabethan splendour of Lambeth Palace, in a library that's drenched in Elizabethan history. So what we've done this evening, we've got some special things out from the collections. The highlight of it, given what prophecy is all about, is the only surviving copy of the execution warrant of Mary Queen of Scots, coupled with the letter that was sent to the Privy Councillors who were told to go and do the deed.
We always get some beautiful exhibitions, some amazing local history and archive events where local audiences can dig deep into the history of their local communities.
These are all original postcards that were sent by soldiers in the First World War, so they're all about 100 years old. Can you believe that?
Given the right facilities and the encouragement, adults, children, all would like to read, and the beauty of Cityread is it brings the book to life. So by doing events and discussions, people see that the story unfolds in front of them and makes it that much more enjoyable.
We work with Quick Reads. Quick Reads create books for emergent adult readers. Every year we create a short book that accompanies our main text. It's really important that we remove barriers to participation for people who might not ordinarily take part in an arts or reading festival like this. Over the years we've worked with specialist partners to reach children and young people, to reach readers in prisons. We've worked with the Asian Libraries and Advisors Group to create translated summaries for people who choose to read books in their mother tongues. Going forward, we'd like to expand our outreach offer to include homeless readers.
I think the idea of Cityread is completely wonderful, and I also think the reality of it is wonderful. And in fact, a young person pointed out to me a list on BuzzFeed, that young person's thing, of 20 ways in which London is better than New York. And there it was, number 12, Cityread.
I see Cityread working well in other major cities, and I'd really love to explore other cities through their stories.
The Cityread Festival is absolutely great. I mean, I've known for years working in libraries and with librarians that we all work well together, we all collaborate. That's just par for the course. But when we get the focus of a city-wide event, we really do show what libraries and librarians can do. We really do great stuff to promote things. And you can just see with the range of events in this year's Cityread, the creativity that's unleashed when something like Cityread gets 30, 40 libraries together working on a theme. It's just brilliant.
Cityread has got three main aims. They are to get more people into libraries, to get more people reading for pleasure, and to celebrate and explore London through its stories.
Right, I decided not to do a whole load of slides because it was a bit like that after lunch on day 2 of the conference. And I thought I would just have a bit of a chat to you now you've seen the video and know what we do. So I guess one of the most important things about Cityread for me and about how it evolved. So I used to work for London Libraries, which is a membership organisation of not just. Didn't used to be public libraries, it was academic libraries and specialist libraries, health libraries. And that closed in 2010. I was made redundant and I just decided to do some stuff on my own, which is how this happened. When we started out developing Cityread, it was really important that we weren't asking public libraries to do anything other than what they would already be doing. It's my firm belief, it was then and it is now, that libraries are wicked. They're awesome places. I really struggle with the idea that libraries constantly need to be innovating and changing what they do. I actually think that the core offer is really, really strong and really compelling. And the only my main problem is a lack of investment in marketing, and there's no point having a horn if you're not going to blow it. There really isn't. There's no point doing all this stuff. There's no point having all your amazing collections if you don't invest the money in telling people what they are. And a point came up in the panel conversation earlier about what Leeds are doing right, and there's a brilliant, great. They've got their social media all covered. But social media is talking to existing audiences. They're the people who already want to listen to what you're saying. The people who get your newsletters, the people who see your posters, they are your audiences. And as much as they can be shared and retweeted and all that kind of thing, I guess what I wanted to do was to create something that allowed us to reach above that, to reach above our natural audiences. So when we developed Cityread originally, we were looking at 4 main areas of work that we could help libraries to promote. So I work with an advisory group of librarians and also a board of trustees who help me. So the trustees basically make sure I focus on stuff and not get distracted by all the shiny things, which I'm quite capable of doing. And my advisory group, basically, I say, can I do this? And they're like, no, you can't, because you just can't do it, it's illegal, immoral, and we haven't got a big enough thing. So when we developed the programme, first of all, we were looking at promoting stuff that libraries already do. They were book groups, which is kind of fairly major. Local history. We were looking at stuff for children, which ended up being far too complicated and we dropped. We'd like to do a separate Cityread just for kids in London. And then that idea of self-creation and about how libraries can help people who want to write and who want to create for themselves. So that's kind of how we started. And the programmes have evolved in that way ever since. And looking for, as you saw, the events take place in all sorts of places and in all sorts of venues that spread our message beyond the natural the natural audiences that you might expect to find in public libraries. All public libraries have this amazing family history facility, so everyone carries Ancestry, and some of them have other digital resources as well. If you wanted to buy Ancestry as just a punter at home, it cost you quite a lot of money. Equally, annually there is the Who Do You Think You Are Live, which is a weekend-long show. It used to be in London, now it's at the NEC. It's massive. Tickets are 20 quid. They fill out the NEC with people who are keen enough about family history to go to Birmingham, to the NEC, to spend a weekend doing stuff and go. No one knows that libraries also offer this, and this is the thing that I find most frustrating. But I think this is where we can, as Cityread, this is where we can really add value. So looking at the idea about, it does lots of other things, but just the pure idea of Cityread being a marketing tool for libraries to use, and each year we find something that we can really focus all of our attentions on. And so next year we're really excited to be working with local studies and family history librarians to really promote that to communities. And I guess how we do that is each year we work with an external evaluator, and it started off as a necessity because we were Arts Council funded and you need an evaluator. But actually, and I was like, oh God, do we really have to pay them £5,000? That's such a lot of money, and there's like loads of other stuff we could be doing. But obviously that evidence and data that we've built up over the last 6 years is really essential to how we build our programmes going forward, and has helped us to analyse where we can most add value. What we got out of this year's programme on prophecy, we did two things slightly differently to previous years. The first thing was we paid for a partnership with the Londonist. So basically we sponsored I don't know if you know the Londonist. It's a website that basically highlights London events, but kind of quirky, experiential stuff is what they like. and London history, and they've got a huge mailing list that goes out, newsletters and that kind of thing. And we paid quite a relatively small amount of money to sponsor their newsletters and to sponsor some tweets. So basically, taking what we do and putting it in front of a completely new audience for the first time. And what we got back from that was immense, actually. Seeing the response to our social media, how our social media following and engagement changed as a response to that. But also in terms of actual conversion. So I attend quite a lot of events, and just people chatting to people as you're there and having a drink. The amount of people like, oh yeah, we just saw this in the Londonist newsletter. So not just the engagement, but the actual conversion into attendance was huge. And we can also evidence that people come to our non-library events, and then they are encouraged then to go on to join the library. So I went to, we had an event at the Royal College of Physicians this year, which isn't on the video, which is a book handling, a vintage book handling workshop. So you could actually turn the pages of the books of Dr. John Dee's library, this Elizabethan sort of magician man, and his existing library books that exist. You could turn up in a small workshop and go through the books. And there was a young couple there who were, I don't know, sort of mid-20s, and who I just wouldn't automatically have thought it would be that, you know, that kind of, the sort of thing they would want to do. And I asked them how they'd found out about it and how they got involved. And they told me their story, which is they got involved because they're big fans of Ben Aronovich, and so when he did his big library thing, they found out about it through his social media. Then they were encouraged to join their own local library to see him. They didn't have to be a library member to see him do his talk, but that is what they were encouraged to do. It brought them into their own public library, and then they just became avid fans of Cityread and the kind of weird, quirky things and libraries fit so well with that deep experiential events stuff that everyone's really into at the moment. So I guess the things that we've learned from this year are that the paid for advertising that most libraries are not in a position to commit to really works for us. And the second thing is that our partnerships with specialist libraries, so our partnerships with the Royal College of Physicians Library and Lambeth Palace Library are partnerships that are really valuable. I'm really excited about using our themes to work with more specialist librarians and specialist collections going forward. Because I think that by working outside of the public library area, I think we've got a real opportunity to open up collections that aren't usually considered by the public and are just very rarely promoted. If you are so thrilled and enamoured by Cityread London, and you think, wow, I'd love to do something similar, I love talking about how this could work in other places. I would love to be able to be in a position to just drop it into a different city, but I am not clonable at the moment. And so, but equally, I love it so much. It works. What we can demonstrate, this is the only stat I can ever remember, but I have written it down just in case. So in 2015, when Ben Aronovich visited all 33 London boroughs in a month, we can evidence that 27% of library audiences were attending their library, or that library, for the first time in over a year. We can prove that more than a quarter of the Cityread audiences have made a conscious decision, because of Cityread and because of Ben, because he's lovely, to go and do that. And I really passionately believe that this is a model that can work in different places. And I also, furthermore, believe that the more stuff we do in a joined up way, the economies of scale that can be realised, and everything's better when you join in, isn't it? So that's kind of it. If you are an academic librarian and you would like to get more involved, we currently do not have an academic librarian on our advisory group. So there are ways to get stuck in, and that is it. Do you have any questions?